Shelley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant. Let's go to my good friend Robert Patillo. Robert Patillo worked at Rainbow Push, Wall Street. What was it? Wall Street thing called, Robert?
Peachtree, the Shelley Peachtree. We live on Peachtree.
No. Wall Street. Didn't you work for Operation Push?
Yeah, Operation Push. We had the Wall Street Project in New York,
yep.
The Peachtree Project in Atlanta.
Oh, Peachtree Project.
They had their own project.
Understood. And you were with the Peachtree Project.
Yeah, I was executive director there for 5 years. I worked with Reverend Jackson for over 20.
Understood. Now, tell us about Reverend Jackson that people would not know, being so, seeing him every day and working with him.
One of the things I think people will be very surprised about is his being a reverend, but his devout Christian belief. And when I say that, I mean across ideological lines, against party lines. He maintained a very close relationship with Jerry Falwell until he passed away. He was very close with members of the Christian Coalition, the 700 Club, that he felt that his devotion to Christianity was what was most important, and that drove his public policy. And I think many people wouldn't know that.
I think you're right. And as a Democrat, how did that square with some of the Democrat policies? Do you think that many people, or did he square with the Democrat policies that, like abortion and things like that may not have squared, according to conservatives at least, that may not square with Democrats and theology?
Well, I think if anybody knows Reverend Jackson, he was not one for towing anybody's line besides his own. And the same way that Christian conservatives have to reconcile being anti-poverty, anti-housing, anti-health care with their Christian beliefs when Jesus says he is that opposite, I think everyone has to have their faith and also their political platforms.
Tell us a story about Reverend Jackson kind of getting upset at something not happening.
I think one of the biggest issues was on this issue of criminal justice reform. That particularly after the election of Obama and having a Democratic majority, there was this real belief that we would have a strong progressive agenda going forward. And then when things like criminal justice reform, housing reform didn't take place, I think that's the time where you saw him kind of being, if not angry, disappointed in our political process. Because remember, he was the one who registered over 2 million people to vote back in the 1988 and brought his own electors to the election. So when you're telling people to vote, you're telling people to make a difference, to get out there, vote, elect your representatives, and then you elect them and you still don't get what you want out of it. I think that was a time where I think legitimately I can say that he was perturbed at the outcomes, but it did not stop him from fighting and simply told him to go out there and get a bigger majority so he can push those things through.
Right. And interestingly enough, one of those things, criminal justice reform, President Trump mentioned in his Truth Social post. Robert, before I let you go, I do want to ask you, some people are saying the only people they care about are the family. You're close enough to be family. You work with him 20 years. He's like a father to you. You've often said that. I've often heard you say that. What are your thoughts about that Trump post?
It was almost great. If he just did the first half of it, it would have been great.
But let me ask you this, because the funniest part to me is the line about Obama. But you kind of just said that was true because he didn't get enough. Right? No?
No. When Trump said he can't stand Obama, remember, Jesse Jackson was the first mainstream Democrat to endorse Barack Obama when the entire rest of the party was endorsing Hillary Clinton. He threw Obama's first major fundraiser in Hyde Park when he announced he was running for president. He supported him when he ran for state representatives, when he ran for state senate, and all the way up the ladder. He was at the convention when President Obama accepted the nomination. I was at Grant Park with Reverend Jackson when Barack Obama secured the presidency. So this idea that he could not stand Barack Obama is ridiculous on its face. But what I will say is that he wanted the Reverend Jackson wanted Obama to push a stronger progressive agenda.
Right.
So, no, he did not hate Barack Obama, but he felt that when you looked at the outlay of the Senate, when Democrats had that filibuster-proof majority, even those senators were too afraid to stand up and go out on a limb on major policy issues. People like Claire McCaskill and I think Tester and others. Remember, this was that same election when Vernon Jones photoshopped that picture of himself next to Obama to pretend to get the nomination. So I think the Democratic Party at the time was still a little bit had too much trepidation on pushing a strong agenda. And looking back now, that may have been our only bite at the apple. I think that's what upset him in that place.
My man, Robert Patillo, my friend. Welcome back to the A. We will be hanging and getting some cigars. I found some good spots for us to hang out, my friend.
I was just going to say I found one 10 minutes from my house, so I'll send you the address.
Absolutely. My brother, Robert Patillo. We'll be talking soon, my friend.
Thanks so much.
Talk to you soon. Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.